Hey, sit quietly for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath. I know life has felt heavy for a long time. You've carried worries, responsibilities, heartbreak, disappointment. And through it all you kept going. You stayed strong for people. You carried burdens quietly. You survived difficult seasons that many people never fully saw. But lately your soul has been longing for something different. Not more pressure. Not more struggle. Not more emotional exhaustion. Your heart has been longing for peace. Real peace. The kind that softens your thoughts, calms your fears, and finally lets your spirit rest again. But listen to this is not random. God is speaking to you right now. And He's saying, I am leading you into a more peaceful season. Take another slow breath and let those words settle gently into your spirit. God says, I know how much you've carried through the years. The worries nobody else fully understood. The emotional weight you learned to hide. The pressure of always trying to stay strong. And I know your soul has become tired. God says, but hear me gently, you were never meant to live in constant heaviness forever. There comes a time when the soul needs calmness again, stillness again, comfort again, and that is the season I am slowly bringing you into now. God says, I know this chapter of life feels different, quieter, slower, more reflective. And because things changed, part of your heart became afraid that life would only become harder from here. But listen carefully, this season is not punishment. It is preparation for peace. God says, I am teaching your heart how to rest again. How to stop carrying fear about tomorrow. How to stop expecting disaster around every corner. How to breathe deeply without feeling emotionally tense all the time. God says you have spent enough years surviving. Now I want you to experience peace. Not perfect circumstances, but peaceful moments inside your spirit even while life remains imperfect. God says, I know there are still unanswered questions in your life, still things you wish were different, still moments when sadness returns unexpectedly. But even in the middle of unfinished situations, peace is still possible for you. God says peace does not come from controlling every outcome. Peace comes from finally realizing you are not carrying life alone anymore. God says, I am already ahead of you, already guiding your future, already preparing gentle moments you cannot yet fully see. And because of that, your heart can stop fighting so hard now. God says, I know you've spent years taking care of others, helping others, being strong for everyone around you. And because you carried so much responsibility, your spirit became used to tension, used to worry, used to emotional exhaustion. But hear me gently, that is not where I want your soul to remain forever. God says this next season is meant to feel softer, calmer, more grounded, more connected to what truly matters. God says there are still beautiful mornings ahead for you, still meaningful conversations ahead, still peaceful evenings where your spirit finally feels lighter again, still moments where your heart suddenly realizes the heaviness is slowly leaving. God says, I know there are days when fear still tries to enter your thoughts. Fear about aging, fear about loneliness, fear about the future. But listen carefully, your future is not empty, and it is not hopeless. I am already there waiting for you, preparing peace for you, preparing healing for you, preparing rest for your weary soul. God says, please stop speaking over your future as though only struggle remains ahead. That is not the story I am writing for your life. I am writing a gentler story now. A story where your spirit does not have to stay exhausted forever. God says one day, you will look back on this season and realize something beautiful. The chapter you feared would feel lonely and heavy became the chapter where your soul finally learned how to rest. God says this peaceful season may not arrive all at once. Healing rarely happens that way. It comes slowly, quietly, like tension leaving your body little by little. Like fear losing its grip on your thoughts. Like calmness returning to your mornings again. God says, and I will walk beside you through every peaceful step of this journey. You are not forgotten, not abandoned, not left alone in your weariness. God says you are deeply loved, deeply guided, and deeply cared for by me. So release some of the heaviness now. Release the fear. Release the endless worrying. Release the pressure to hold everything together alone. God says, because I am leading you into a more peaceful season. A softer season. A healing season. A season where your soul can finally breathe again. and I will remain beside you through every gentle moment of it. Always. If this message comforted your heart, type "God is leading me to peace" in the comments, and remind yourself today, your life is not meant to stay heavy forever. A more peaceful season is coming.